As a neurodivergent, it's easy to feel shame for earlier versions of ourselves. The versions that didn't necessarily know that we were autistic or ADHD and made a lot of the rookie errors, so-called rookie errors, in social situations with neurotypicals. We might have been too direct, we might have been offensive, we might have been insensitive, we might have been too stubborn, too rigid, we might have not read between the lines, we might have missed some nuance, we might have skipped over formalities or social niceties. We might have disrespected somebody's place in a social hierarchy. We might not have done the necessary small talk. We might have imposed upon somebody else. We might have info dumped. We might have interacted in a very hyperactive and impulsive way. We might have been very spacey and not been able to follow what somebody was teaching us or telling us. All of these myriad challenges that come up when you are neurodivergent in a neurotypical world, they live with us. We carry them across our lifespan a lot of the time in the form of a shame hangover. And we perceive ourselves perpetually to be a bad or faulted person because of the storied history of us having made social mistakes or done something to rub somebody the wrong way or crossed some kind of boundary that we weren't aware was there because it didn't come second nature to us because we don't have the social intuition that, let's say, neurotypicals do. And we may not have been able to actually intuit or read the cues or the rules. And so we blundered, we made mistakes. We got repercussions, punishment, judgment, exclusion, marginalization. And we've learned that if we internalize that shame that's directed at us and it becomes the driver of our own growth or evolution, we can adapt and we can avoid the same situations and disastrous results in the future. However, it is a prison of our own making because we perpetually live in this crouched state, anticipating that we're going to make a mistake, so we live very conservatively. We don't take any risks, we don't put ourselves out there, we engage in a lot of avoidance of situations that are anxiety-provoking. And living with this shame hangover is crippling. It makes you want to stay within the bounds of a very narrow life, because if you come outside of that narrow life, you go into the danger zone, and there's a possibility that you haven't encountered a certain situation before, and you'll make another one of these rookie errors. And as an adult, the repercussions could be a lot more severe. You could lose a job. You could experience some kind of alienation. A friend could drop you, stop speaking to you, ice you out. And as an adult, we don't necessarily want those things to happen because it's a lot harder to recover from these kinds of setbacks as an older person because it's a lot harder to make friends, to recover careers. And the expectation is that you will not make these errors. So when you do make these errors perceived by neurotypicals, there is very little mercy given because you are an adult and you should know better. So yes, sometimes living with the shame can help protect us against us making these mistakes and then getting into colossal trouble. But if we live confined by that memory, constantly chased by shame, what kind of life can we live, really, if we're constantly haunted by the ghosts of past selves that didn't know any better, that hadn't learned how to adapt, hadn't learned what the expectation was, hadn't learned to comport themselves in social situations to other people's appeasement. It's unfortunate that we've had to adapt in this way, but I also think it's a sign of our resilience. We learn to walk, speak in two languages, neurotypical and neurodivergent. And we become the ultimate survivors because we're willing to exhibit a growth mindset and adapt. As part of that growth mindset, I think to heal, we have to let go of those past selves. We have to treat ourselves with forgiveness and compassion. We didn't know any better. We didn't know any different. We didn't have a lot of help. And we did the best with what we knew at the time. And holding on to those memories and shaming ourselves about them and replaying them endlessly as proof or evidence of our deficiency or defectiveness doesn't serve us. What past self or past memory about something that you've done as a neurodivergent, as a younger person, are you willing to let go of? What has haunted you and what has also held you down and stopped you from growing and kept you in a very narrow confine of a life? I would love to hear from you.